morning. You're watching News Mike and I am Kanchan Jeswani. I am sure you must have heard the historic speech by PM Modi which was given today from Red Fort. There were a lot of security personnel, many guests, and everybody was tuned in and everybody had an eye on what PM Modi is going to talk today. The speech was equally important for this Independence Day because this is his last speech of his second tenure, because next 2024 we do have our Lok Sabha election. So before that, this is the last Independence Day speech of PM Modi. This was his 10th speech, and you know what came out as a very important aspect in this speech was he highlighted a lot about economy. He highlighted about inflation. He highlighted that he sees India as a developed nation by 2047. That shows the insight that he has in making India a country which is developing to become a developed nation by 2047. He also talked about inflation. He said that the prices are are hiking every day, be it anything, and we as a government are planning to curb it down for the middle class, for upper middle class, for poor people, and they will succeed in making inflation, making it on a subtle rate. Apart from that, he also mentioned, when I said that he talked about economy, he also mentioned that India will be among top 3 global leaders in economy, which was a very big statement, because the way everybody, not just the Indians who are right out sitting in the world and listening to this, but I think every other country today has an eye on India. Today sees the policies of India. Today sees how India as a nation has become more strong, how India has represented itself on many different platforms that we see today. Of course, that is by what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing. Another aspect that he touched was the yojnas that BJP has brought in. He showed us, he presented a report card of BJP government for the last, what BJP government has been doing in the past 10 years and how has it affected in all the segments of society, in all the stratas of society, be it women, be it old age, be it youngsters. So he gave emphasis on all stratas of society. He also mentioned that what do you see, what makes PM Modi, what makes him different is the way he talks, the way he thinks, and the way he functions, and the way he thinks. I mean, today we see leaders talking about how are we making metro cities more beautiful, how are we making smart cities, but he is the one who said that we'll be focusing on villages, we'll be focusing on districts, we'll be focusing on colonies, we'll be focusing on zones, and tier 2 and tier 3. These were his words. So for him, the progress is of the lower class, of the middle class, of the upper middle class. It's not the progress of the richer. So that was also one important point which he highlighted in his speech, that we are focusing on India, on every aspect of India from the lower level. We are trying to make India a better place for them to live in, to survive in. He also commented on family politics of parivar. So I am sure before 5 days you must have heard how he has talked about the opposition in parliament, the way he has answered to the opposition in parliament when opposition walked out in the parliament, and he said many things. After that, in Independence Day, he did mention about party of family, by family, for family, and the parivarwad, the politics of he mentioned about Congress. That's what he meant to be. So economics was one important point. Infrastructure, climate was yet another part that he addressed in his address while he was giving this speech, that how India has made and given special advices on international platforms when it comes about climate, because climate is a very important concern when we talk about today. When we see today the changing climate, the crops that are getting affected, the population is getting affected, every species is getting affected due to climate. So he gave a very important point on climate as well. Also, did he mention about Nari? He talked about Desh ki Aadhi Abadi. He talked about Nari Shakti, he talked about self-help groups, and he talked about how they are, he talked about how to strengthen the women of today, how they are making how they are giving amazing contributions in every strata of society, be it defense, be it army, be it air force, navy, teaching, whatever profession it is. So women are coming up, participating, business women, apart from just doing jobs. These are the jobs that I mentioned before, but there are a lot of business women, there are a lot of business entrepreneurs who have come up. And he also said that in coming time they will be launching many other schemes for women, for other people as well. He talked about Ayushman Bharat as well, how Ayushman Bharat has shaped the health of poor, and which is a wonderful scheme. PM Kisan, PM Awas Yojana, these were many yojanas that PM discussed about. Overall, in a nutshell, if I say, he did present a report card of his 10-year government, which is in center since last 10 years. 2024 is a very important year for election. Before 2024 and 2023, by the year end we have state elections also. Everybody is eyeing on what is going to be in these state election, but somewhere with this speech he mentioned, he targeted opposition, he presented how BJP has worked. He said that how country feels safe today, the infrastructure, how much have BJP built, how much have they developed, how much progress have they done as a government. And also he said that Vishwakarma Yojana will be launched very soon on the Vishwakarma Jayanti. He talked about poverty, he talked about health, he talked about, he touched every sector that I could see, that I was hearing while I was having a debate at that time. And G20 as well. G20 comes as a very big opportunity for India to welcome their guests. He talked about trade. Trade is a very important aspect of any country when you talk about the country's economy. So trade was one of the major concerns. He talked about COVID, he talked about vaccination, how India helped people sitting abroad, how India helped other nations to fight against COVID by providing them vaccinations. So these are many things. Youth was definitely an important, very important path. He did mention about Manipur as well. He also talked about Manipur when you heard him in the parliament, and everybody had an eyes on when will he be speaking on Manipur. And because the cruelty that we saw in Manipur, the no answers, the no solutions that I've seen in Manipur, but then he did say that with a lot of positive notion that the country is with Manipur and it will be solved soon. So these are the highlights of PM Modi's speech. It was a historic speech. Also, it is important because it is his last speech of his second tenure. 2024 Lok Sabha elections. For more such updates, keep watching News Smile. Thank you.